As a big fan of Wes Anderson, it's hard to say I was disappointed by The French Dispatch, but this was sadly the case. It's ironic that The Electric Life of Louis Wayne, a film that was a clear homage to Wes Anderson, was better than the film that was actually directed by Anderson. What's also ironic is that in my Louis Wayne review, I said that people who try to imitate Anderson fail to realise that what makes his films great isn't just the quirky style, but their characters, and that's exactly where The French Dispatch fails. The film is separated into 4 vignettes that are different stories told by separate writers from the titular paper run by Bill Murray. One of them is very short and just has Owen Wilson introducing you to the town of Ennui, where the whole film is set. The other 3 are around 40 minutes long and narrated by Tilda Swinton, Frances McDormand and Jeffrey Wright, respectively. As is the nature with anthology films, the stories are quite quick and you don't get much attachment to any of the characters. What doesn't help is that every story is filled to the brim with several characters, all of which get barely any time to give you any form of connection to them. There are several moments where you're clearly meant to have some form of emotional reaction to a specific character and you just don't feel anything because you've only known this person for all of 5 minutes. This is made all the more baffling when the majority of the characters are all played by very big names. Willem Dafoe and Christoph Waltz are 2 actors of exceptional talent that are used for what felt like about 30 seconds and they aren't given much in the way of dialogue. None of the stories are actually that interesting either. All of them felt quite flat, and with the aforementioned character problem, none of them have any sort of massive engagement level. The usual Wes Anderson flair is there to take you through the film and makes it more entertaining than it would otherwise have been, but without the great writing behind it, it feels more like someone making a Wes Anderson parody rather than an actual Wes Anderson film. Another reason that The French Dispatch was a big disappointment to me is my personal connection to the production. A big portion of the film was shot in Angoulême in France, which is a city where I have spent a lot of time in my life since I have family there. I followed the production quite thoroughly through the local press and was very excited to see locations I'd recognise. Angoulême is somewhat of a cultural hub for animation in France, and fittingly there are sections of The French Dispatch that are made in an animation style very reminiscent of the sorts of things you'd see come out of this city. These moments were very much the highlight for me. There's also a big dedication to the people of Angoulême in the credits, which I also appreciated. The French Dispatch shows that Wes Anderson hasn't lost his signature style and has even doubled down on it. However, it feels as though he might have become a bit self-indulgent and has become a bit of a parody of himself. The writing and emotional heart of a lot of his previous films is completely absent here, and while it's by no means a bad film, it's still pretty empty and can't really be considered in any way comparable to the likes of The Royal Tenenbaums and The Grand Budapest Hotel. The French Dispatch gets a Deight score of 6. Happy dating, you loners.